Greetings, this is the Timeshare Traveler. Today's episode 29, Big Trees State Park, a 1.7-mile hike. This is the basic hike in the center of the Big Trees, California State Park. And it's a very simple hike, no elevation change, but you get a beautiful view of these huge trees that can be up to 30 feet in diameter. Definitely, if you get a chance, staying at the World Mark Angels Camp was able to do that. But anyway, before I go through the hike, let me tell you a little bit about my channel, then we'll go right through the hike.
Hi, this is Cliff, and I'm your Timeshare Traveler. The goal of my YouTube channel is improving your timeshare travels. I'll do this through timeshare video reviews, tips for using timeshares, and much, much more. I can be found on Facebook at Timeshare Trav, Twitter at Timeshare Trav, and on the web at www.timesharetraveler.com. And if you like my videos, don't forget to click subscribe below. This is the start of the North Grove Trail in Big Trees Park. We're just leaving the main area, the parking area. Okay, then you cross this bridge. This is a 1.7 mile circular loop, fairly flat. But it's kind of the main trail that most people go on. Now we're on the trail, kind of leaving, and came to our first. You always go to the first sequoia tree, and where you can tell them is they kind of bow out, so they go like that. That's how you can tell the sequoia trees. They don't come straight down, and that gives them the strength to be this tall.
Do you want me to take a picture of you in front?
No. And then we'll continue on, coming up to one of the groves here of the sequoia trees, and you can sort of see the steps in front of me. That actually walks up onto onto the what used to be a tree trunk. So we're going to climb up those stairs here and actually stand on top of one of the giant sequoia trees, a former living tree. And I don't know if you can tell how big this is, but it's about let's say 13 feet in circumference. And there you can see, I don't know if that was a tree that it was cut down from, but there you go. That's how big they are. And here we have the entrance, as it says, the North Grove Trail entrance. We're actually now on the loop. And you can see lots of trees in the background and all around. This trail was put together in 1976 so that people could enjoy it. It's a very simple trail, but highlights a lot of the beautiful things in the park. Heading across the bridge, and right across on the other side is another one of the giant sequoias that's alive, probably several hundred years old, and that one's probably not quite 3 meters across, but it's pretty good size. And again, you can see the leaves don't grow as low, and that's actually a fire safety, so the trees can survive a lot of fires because the leaves don't actually start to quite a bit up, and so that's one of the natural defenses they have for wildfires. Going along the trail, you come to a sort of a break off, and as you can see from the sign, we're going to go left because we're on the North Grove Trail. And that's, again, pointing us on the way. And they've created these nice walkways. Here again is a very simple hike, but it's also very beautiful and very informative. Okay, so I'm walking along the path, and again, another large. And what's fascinating is the ground is almost a similar color as the bark on the trees. It seems a rich iron color to the ground. So if you look at the ground, it's got a reddish tinge to it, and it's similar to the bark. Know that how they have highways that go around farms? Well, this walkway goes around a tree that you can see fell down, and we built the path around it. So just keep following the wood. Now we're on the back side of the tree, and you can sort of see, I guess, the root system inside, what it was like inside the tree. And then we continue along on the path. So as you turn the corner now, you see actually quite a few of them because as close together. So you can see sort of in the wild how far apart they grow, which is not that far apart because they're quite tall and they don't take that much space. Continuing on, walking along the path, and there's a distinct smell. I wish I had a smell-a-thon camera, but there's a real, almost similar to redwood, but it's different than pine. It's a little stronger scent, but it's everywhere. It's beautiful. It smells great. Okay, now we're crossing a little, what I suspect is a creek in the spring, but it's dry right now. I'm coming up to another tree. Here's one of the tall trees, and interestingly, you can see the angle of the bench over there. They have. It actually angles back so you can sit on it and look up at the tree. Okay, now we're on another walkway, and we're going around another tree. So the walk kind of goes around the trees, and I think they've done that so you can actually see all sides of the trees. And almost all of them look like there's some form of fire that brought them down, because it looks like charred at the ends of the, so I'm guessing many of these were brought down by natural fires. Okay, so I'm standing right in one of the trees, and just so you know, I'm 6'6", and my reach is 8'3". So just give you a flavor for how big these trees are. Now we're in a grove of the trees. You can see them all here. Now here's a little place, I'm not going to do it, but you can actually walk all the way from one end of the tree all the way down to the end. A very nice tree house. And now we're going through a winding road through a couple trees. Again, it's a great walk. You get this so up close to the trees and so interesting. We're continuing onto the trail, and here's another one of the tall trees. And you can start to see the sun settling. It's in the early afternoon now. Continuing along the path, it's winding through some, I don't believe that these are not sequoias here. So we've left that branch behind, although there are some off here to the left. You can see by the change in the bark. Continuing along the path, and I finally remember what the smell was. The smell's kind of like back in the day when you had Christmas trees that were made of wood. It has something like a Christmas tree smell to it. And again, you can see some of the trees, this one right here lying down, that had fallen years ago, maybe decades ago. Going along, and I just want to point out that you can see the burl sticking out of the side of the tree here. Quite large, actually. And then you can see the one with the little knob down below. Continuing along on the walk, a few more, you can see the giant sequoias. We're a little bit over a mile. We're about probably a half mile to go. Winding our way through the path now. Less sequoias, although they may be smaller. This may be a new growth area in here, because I do see a few in here. It looks like there was some fire recently on this one. But continue on our path back toward the parking lot. Three amigos, I'm calling them the three amigos, that's my word. Three sequoias that kind of grew right next to each other. And they're about the same height, so they must be, probably within 100 years of each other at least. And again, we're continuing on the path on the way back to the parking lot. Okay, now we're wrapping up the tour. You can see the cabins now. So we've completed the loop and just head up the parking lot. And again, it's a very gentle 1.7 mile, but very, very, get one of the booklets. It has descriptions of all the trees, and you can read through them as you go through the walk.